OCS is like reality TV in uniform. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about OCS drama, roommates, all those type of things, right? And like always, I have my notes, my handy dandy notes, and we're going to be talking about leadership conflicts, politics, roommate drama, all of that stuff, right? So it's impossible to avoid, drama sometimes, right? Nothing can be absolutely perfect. Like, you're going to find yourself frustrated with people. You're going to find yourself in some type of conflict or disagreement with somebody, right? The key thing is you want to stay professional and cover your behind at all times. You don't want to do something that somebody can use against you on peer evals or counselings or anything like that, right? But it's going to happen. You're going to be upset with someone. You're going to maybe get into a disagreement or some type of conflict with somebody, right? And we're going to talk about those type of things in this video, right? Common issues, right? You're going to have a roommate. Maybe one, maybe two, right? And some people are not clean. Some people have different cleaning standards, right? That's going to be an issue because you do get room inspections at OCS. So if somebody don't keep their stuff together, that can affect the whole team, right? There's going to be clashing of personalities. There's going to be communication errors, right? You got to work closely with people. You got to work as a team. Everybody's not going to communicate. Everybody's not going to cooperate effectively. So you are going to bump heads with people, right? So that is one of the main things. And let's see what else. When it comes to leadership tension, right? Like I said in previous videos, you're going to be in leadership roles, right? You're going to be in charge of a whole platoon. You're going to be a squad leader, things like that. You're going to have to learn how to balance your ambitions versus being a team player. You're going to have to learn how to balance the two. You can't be all about yourself. You got to be willing to help people and look out for people as well. Because like I said, they are always watching you. And that can affect your peer evals. I'm telling you, them peer evals are something serious. They're nothing to take lightly. So, besides that, let's see. Let's talk about politics, right? There's going to be favoritism. You're going to see that. There's going to be racism. There are going to be peer ranking games, right? And let me explain what I mean by the peer ranking games. And I should have mentioned this in my peer eval video, but let's just say, like, for example, we're in a squad, right? And in your squad, you don't get to choose who's in your platoon. You don't get to choose who's in your squad. And let's say you're the only one in that squad. And the rest of the people, you're not really friends or buddies with them, right? But they are buddies with each other, right? They're going to look out for each other, right? They're going to talk amongst each other. They're going to say, hey, we're going to give each other good peer evals. But they may not like you. They're going to give you a bad peer eval. And it's going to look like, oh, you're the problem out of the squad. So that's what I mean. It's going to be things like that go on. Honestly, you can by right request to be put in another squad. Your cadre can put you in another squad, and from time to time, sometimes they will do that. They will swap you after a couple of weeks in this squad. They'll put you in another one. They won't just keep you there the entire time. They have to move you around. So it will be a lot of things like that going around, right? How to manage it. Let's talk about how to manage it. Like I said, stay professional. You want to try to talk your issues out early on. Don't just let those things, build up inside. Try to talk out your problems with your peers. If you can't get anywhere, then get a cadre involved. So at least you cover yourself. At least they are aware of these issues and you're trying to fix them, right? So you want to make sure you do things like that. You know, you need a mediator, kind of. In a lot of situations, you're going to need that. And you definitely want to set boundaries with people. So you want to make sure that you learn the lessons in OCS. You're going to make mistakes. Don't think that you're going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes, but learn from the mistakes, because your cadre is watching you, right? Your peers is watching you. Okay, she made this mistake, but she never learned from it. She did it again and again and again and again and again, right? That's showing that you're not learning from your mistakes. So there are, trust me, I'm telling you guys, they're watching you like a hound. Everything, and they don't forget nothing. They're watching everything you do. So don't beat yourself up for making a mistake. Just make sure that you learn from them. So depending on your leadership, you don't really get to choose your roommate, and you guys don't know each other anyway, so everybody's going to be new to each other. So I would just say, you know, if you have a roommate that you don't really like or you don't really get along with, just stay out of each other's way. And honestly, you're not really in your room that much anyway. You're just there to sleep, you know, shower, hygiene, stuff like that. The only time you're really spending a lot of time in your room is during like the weekends when you're not training, like a Saturday or a Sunday. I had several roommates while I was there, because I was there for quite some time, and then swapping from different companies and leadership, like they did things differently. I did have some roommates that I really enjoyed, that I really liked, you know, we got along really well. But then I had some roommates that in the beginning it wasn't like, we didn't really have no beef or no drama, but it would just, I can't really explain it. We just didn't speak to each other, just put it that way. We really didn't speak to each other, and it was just kind of like, I don't know if I want to say awkward, but it can be awkward. So yeah, we really didn't speak to each other. I would just be to myself. I would like go outside, or, you know, talk on the phone, call some family, call a friend, or just sit there and in my thoughts and enjoy the weather. Like on a nice day, I would just sit there and chill or whatever. I didn't really spend that much time in my room anyway. And she wasn't even in the room that much. But yeah, there's ways, there's other things and other places you can go. You don't have to just sit in your room. I mean, you really don't have to like each other, you know, like you got your side of the room, she has her side of the room, you know. You really don't have to say much to each other unless it's, you know, necessary. So in summary, you're not at OCS to make friends, right? You're there to get your bar. You're there to learn the skills. Focus on that. You're not there to make friends, because majority of these people you're not going to even speak with once you graduate. You're not. Y'all may follow each other on social media, but you're not even going to be friends afterwards. So focus on what you're there for. Focus on that. Not the whole cliques, not the friends. Don't get me wrong, you may still have one or two people that you still keep in contact with. You know, that's good, but still focus on what you're there for. Do not take OCS lightly. You need to take it very seriously and make sure everything is intentional, and move with strategy. You gotta move with strategy. So yeah, I hope my advice, I hope my tips and all that stuff help you guys out in this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. And like always, I will see you guys in my next video.